Welcome to the Grawlix Nights, the Grawlix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
And tonight, Nicolas Cage has lost his pig, the evil dead rise, and Batman will do anything for love. But he won't do that. But first, what's going on, everybody? How are you two? How are my lovely co-hosts?
Hot.
Yeah.
Right?
Hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's an advantage to being a horrible night owl. I slept through most of the day. So,
Oh, it'll be hot all night. It's not going to cool down much.
that's true. Paul. Hey, what's up, Paul, by the way? A meatloaf reference. I can dig it. I debated because that's such, in my mind, that's such a tired reference, but
Only to us. Like to other people, it's like, what are you talking about?
That's a good point. It's probably our age, and I got to remember.
Yeah.
There's younger people now. Well, I played with a couple ideas. I was like, yeah, the world's greatest detective can't find his way south or something, whatever. But
Yeah.
it felt more lewd, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we can, I don't know if we can go that much into that story, but there's really not much to it.
Yeah.
The internet has dissected it quite generously already. So,
I was going to say the story is more the internet's reaction to it than it itself, I think.
right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's kind of like, well, it's been beat to death already. It was fresh when I shared it with you guys. Twitter was all about it one evening, and I was like, "What's this?
Right.
Why is Batman trending?"
Not for reasons you'd expect.
Yeah, that's a weird mashup, Paul, but it's all right. I like it. I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna say Ryan
Wow.
won't let that happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Why?
a callback. It's several references.
What's
It's
Ryan's problem? Listen, it's too early to derail this train.
Mhm.
However, I've been watching some Doctor Who. I'm just saying.
uh-oh.
I've been watching some Doctor Who. I started Tenet. I put it on the second screen. I haven't been paying full attention, which is generally not how I watch things. But second screen while I'm gaming and stuff. And season 2, because I had jumped around previously around 9, revisited random episodes, and I was like, I'm just gonna put on I guess season 2 of the new series. We'll just start there. And it's interesting. It's interesting to revisit.
Mhm.
And again, I really wish. I was telling Melanie, I was mildly upset because I was like, every time I'm like, I'll watch an episode, I'd be like, oh yeah, this episode was great. Man, the Russell T Davies era was pretty good. And then I'll look and be like,
Oh no.
Moffat wrote it. God dang it.
Yeah.
But that's just further proof that it's a conversation we've had a million times over literally like the 7 years that the podcast has been going. But the other day I was talking to Melanie. I was like, Moffat, he's an M. Night Shyamalan. He needs someone to keep him in check. He can't be left to his own devices. He has amazing ideas. I mean, they're not entirely original ideas. In fact, he recycled a lot of his own ideas, but that weren't really his own ideas for his run. But you make him showrunner, and he has total control, and then his weaknesses become apparent, I feel.
Yeah. I want to comment on Savannah's comment. She said, see you do other stuff while watching TV. It becomes so productive. But I would like to point out that Randall was actually rewatching something he's already watched at least twice. And that's a little different. You can't give your full attention to something you've never seen if you're busy doing other stuff.
100%, Melanie. Yeah. If there's something, for example, anything we ever review on the show, or when I was doing Cinematic Universe, I always, that's just anything. If there's a movie I'm going to watch or a show I want to watch that I've never seen before, I don't play on the phone. I don't do none of that. I generally don't do it on my computer either. I'll do it, in the living room, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna watch it, and that's what I'm paying attention to. And if it's not gonna hold my attention, why am I wasting my time with it in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
I will have lots of like YouTube going on the other screen when I'm doing stuff, or usually I don't even do shows like Doctor Who. Usually it's just YouTube videos or something that's very talky that I can absorb most of the material that way, or like podcasts. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, Face a Bow, the classic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was enjoying it. The woman in the fireplace, basically proto Amy Pond,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
is an amazingly crushing episode, and also kind of super creepy. Moffat has a thing for that certain creepy trope of
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna be as say it as much as extremely. I'm not gonna word it the way I did when I was telling Melanie about it the other day. But Woody Allen comes to mind. I'm like, well, this is a weird thing he's got, like a
Mm-hmm.
recurring trend.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
they get older, I stay the same age.
Yep.
Yes.
That's a weird
Oh yes.
Okay, anyway, total side tangent. That reminds me.
Hmm.
Let's turn an alarm on.
Oh yeah. I'm
1 hour from now, or
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
1 hour
that's
minus 7 minutes.
just one. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay. It doesn't matter. None of this matters.
For the audience, if you weren't here, we've incorporated a timer so that we get to the point.
Right.
Yeah, it's a straight up alarm. It goes off. It's like get off the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only way we can do it now. Okay. Did you guys have anything interesting happen to you guys? I feel like my Doctor Who talk was, I guess, my catching up with Randy.
Well, I think that we should congratulate Jesse for his new career move that was recently announced. So, congratulations, Jesse. I hope it's wonderful.
Well, thank you. Thank you. For people who don't know, I am changing school districts, so I'll be moving to a different situation next year. So
He's still dancing on the weekends, though.
Yep.
just not at any of the places you go.
Right. I only go to trashy joints. Jesse's classy.
Yeah. They wear suits.
Savannah watched A Streetcar Named Desire, which I think is something I've seen. I know it's Marlon Brando, but for whatever reason, I always get that movie and On the Waterfront mixed up. But On the Waterfront is the one I'm very familiar with. I've seen it multiple times.
Mhm.
Streetcar Named Desire, I can't place what happens in that other than Stella.
I have never watched either. If you're gonna watch an old movie that I've seen, you should watch Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and that's just because Paul Newman's super hot. But other than that, it's
No,
all right.
I don't know. Cat. No, I don't know. No cat in the on the hot. tin
That
roof.
was his job.
You watch Butch. If you want hot Paul Newman, watch Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
Okay, watch Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kids.
The Sundance Kids. I like that. It's like the Saturday morning show version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Raindrops. Okay. Oh, and one other thing, then we'll jump into our couple of short news stories before talking about Loki, in case you were unclear on what we were actually talking about tonight.
Yeah.
I believe, yes, the podcast is fully vaxxed now. We are all fully vaxxed.
Yep.
Well, Melanie has the couple of weeks till she can go maskless in public, but are you going to? Are you going to drop the mask?
I guess if I have to. I kind of like it.
I know you do. I have dropped. Yeah, I stopped because the hassle aspect. And if we weren't in Nebraska and people didn't side eye you for wearing a mask even in the midst
Right.
of everything,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'd be more. You know what? Everyone gets to wear. I get to wear a black mask in public every day, everywhere I go.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. It's not amazing. I'll say that's an amazing turn on a horrible situation. That's a silver lining. But America's weird.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
can
it
be
is.
difficult about everything. Waxed and vaxed. That's what I'll say.
That's just a Tuesday. Wait, what? Tuesdays are weird.
They are.
Okay. Here's a short one. We're gonna react to some news, and also these look like literal children, but also fake children that don't exist. They were made by machine learning.
Oh.
New Line's Evil Dead Rise adds young trio to cast. Randy's editorial. Evil Dead Rise is a thing. What? I had heard there was something they were going to be doing something, not a remake or not like another reboot, but the franchise was going to continue. But I don't believe I'd heard anything consistent, like concrete. Apparently, yeah. No, here it is. Evil Dead Rise, New Line being made by over at New Line. Sam Raimi and Robert Tappert wrote the screenplay. Oh. That's interesting that they wrote the screenplay. So they actually do have more involvement in this than they did, say, the reboot. I know I know Sam Raimi produced it, and like this, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are executive producing. I did not know that Raimi had a hand in the screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of makes it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul says, good news. You will be able to review all future Marvel shows in real time. They will be airing on Wednesdays from now on. I do like that, actually. I mean, yeah, I like that. I like not having to wait a week because, like, when we're doing WandaVision, the internet, man, it's like the Batman thing.
Mm-hmm.
3 days, 4 days tops. You don't make it within that, like the first, and sometimes even shorter. If you don't talk about a thing, and not even just for a podcast, just in life, if you don't talk about a thing within the first couple days, nobody cares anymore because it's been beaten to death.
Mm-hmm.
They've moved on.
Yeah.
I like it because I'm not an old man yet or an old lady yet, and I got stuff to do on the weekends. I don't want to sit watching a freaking show on the weekend. I want to do that in the middle of the week. Get it over with.
Right. Yeah, I do. I have been also enjoying. Not that my weekends. I guess whatever. I have been enjoying having a midweek thing, for sure.
Right.
It's nice to not have to cram everything on the weekend. Let's see. It will be directed by. Oh no, I'm wrong about the screenplay on this. Lee Cronin. The name doesn't strike a bell. He wrote the screenplay and will be directing. He was handpicked by Sam Raimi. I misread that.
That's okay.
I see your comments there, Paul. Anyway, whatever. It revolves around the demons. Okay, so the new Evil Dead movie. They're getting out of the woods and they're going to the city, and it's going to tell a story of two estranged sisters whose reunion is cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how are they going to do like tree assault if they're not in the woods? I mean, that's
shrubbery.
So.
Spireas, man.
And then here, I'll click over a picture. These are whatever. The actual story was like, here are 3 young actors going to be in the show. I don't know who they are. It's just not relevant to me. I was just like, oh, they're actually a lot further along in this new Evil Dead movie than I realized. So that's the whole story as far as I'm concerned.
Hmm.
And they look. She is a little girl, and also they
Hmm.
all look dead inside.
Oh God, they do.
What are
Yeah.
like those are the weirdest pictures. So those are pictures courtesy of probably I don't know, they're acting people, but like those are the pictures they give out.
Yeah, I mean,
God, the one on the end looks like a Barbie doll. Like
hmm
her eyes don't even look real.
There there is a weird uncanny valley thing going on, even though they're supposed to be real people with all of them.
hmm
Uh, they don't. Yeah, and then you've got Slim Shady Bieber in the middle. Yeah, it's weird, and they look like they're 9.
yeah.
Okay, that's all.
All right.
Weird. Um,
Hopefully they're good.
yeah, I mean, Melanie and I had went and seen the Evil Dead reboot, even though that is generally a thing no one should do. You don't do that.
Right.
Right.
Why? For what purpose?
It's already been done twice.
But we did go see it in the theater when it came out years ago, and I enjoyed it. It's not proper. It's not a proper Evil
It's
Dead.
not my Evil Dead.
It's not
Yeah.
my Evil Dead, but it did rain blood at the end, so
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
That's
the effects on that movie were flipping awesome, especially knowing that they were all practical, which is insane.
right. And one final thing before Loki, Nicolas Cage. He lost his pig, and he's trying to find his pig.
Hmm.
You know what he should have had that pig in?
What?
A cage.
How did we not see it? How did we not see it coming? Oh man.
Nick's cage, in fact.
Yeah, so there's a new trailer for a movie called Pig, starring Nicolas Cage, which I was like, oh, that's all I need to know. What? Nicolas Cage? I'm in. What? It's called Pig? I'm more in. So, the trailer, I feel like this is going to be a serious drama. It's going to be a serious drama and have a somber tone
Hmm.
almost throughout the entire thing. I feel like maybe that's the weird angle they're going to be coming at, where it's like the whole. Here's what, as far as I know, is Nicolas Cage's. You said he's like a cook or something.
Yeah,
or
he was a chef. Yeah.
but also like he has a truffle pig. And I don't know
Hmm.
if he's also a truffle pig farmer or what, but he's got a pig.
I don't
And
think so. I don't think he is. He lives alone in the forest in Oregon. I think he just eats truffles with his pig, and that's about it.
this is a good life. And and then his pig's gone. It kind of seems like he maybe got attacked and then somebody stole the pig.
Hmm.
Although I ran that section back a couple times and you don't really see much of anything except maybe like some light and air distortion. So maybe he doesn't even get attacked. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was an explosion.
Okay, that could be. So is this the dark sequel to Babe? Yes, it is if you want it to be.
That'll do, pig.
And yeah, and Charlotte's Web. Yeah. What do you guys? What did you guys think of this?
It looks interesting. I don't know. I don't know how they can. Maybe they can try and play it as a series. But it's Nick Cage, and he looks pretty flippin' crazy through the whole thing. So if it's a serious drama, then everybody in there is going to be wigging out the whole time because he looks like a madman. Especially when he leaves the forest for the city and doesn't even wipe the blood off his face. Sitting in a super fancy restaurant, all dirty and crusty, demanding a pig. It's
Yeah.
I
What
don't
is
know.
that scenario?
I don't know. I was an adult. I'm sorry. I know this isn't really on, but it pertains to the story. I didn't know that I had never had a truffle in before because I thought that chocolate truffles actually had truffles in them, but they don't. So I've never had a truffle.
They're lies.
They are lies.
The truffle is a lie. Jesse, did you watch the trailer? What did you think of this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's that such a weird like vibe because at the end you're like thinking, oh, well, this is like, like it'll fade to black and then some crazy action will happen or something. And it didn't go there. Like, it didn't give you that piece that you would expect the trailer to, because you think you know what's going on with the story, but
Mhm.
maybe I don't have a clue. I don't know.
Yeah, it hit like it starts off like okay, it's not like I don't know, whatever. It's got like somber music a little bit. He's just chilling with his pig, and then it goes like horror movie almost. I was like, wait, is this like a weird horror movie? And then it keeps going. I'm like, or Melanie had mentioned it in our chat before the show, and also Paul right there. John Wick with a pig. It has a tone like it could go John Wick, where he's he's got to get his pig back. But I seen it credited, or in the article that I come across, where I first seen the trailer, they said it's a drama. They didn't say it was a thriller or action or horror or anything. They said it's a drama. So I feel like the trailer is maybe misleading, but then again, trailer houses know how to sell a Nicolas Cage, because they're just like, what is this? We'll make it seem scary. People like Nicolas Cage horror, and also this movie's kind of like John Wick, Nicolas Cage, John Wick, but it's a pig. People would love that. So I feel like the trailer editors know how to do that.
Oh. They even slid in with the Academy Award winning.
Yeah, they did.
I
Nicolas
noticed
Cage.
that.
I was like, what? When was the last time you saw that?
That and that's another thing that kind of makes me think they're going for drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, the font and everything.
Yeah.
Nick Cage in dramas. I mean, it can work, but it's a little tougher than horror and what weird stuff, basically.
Most of the time, they're comedies, whether they intend to be or not. Not always. But yeah, Mandy and John Wick, combine those, and that's the movie I want, and that's not what this movie is going to be. But it's still a Nicolas Cage movie where he lost his pig.
Yeah.
Which makes it compelling right off the bat. Like, if you need to be in on a pitch meeting, you're just like, so what do you have for me? All right, this guy loses his pig, but it's Nicolas Cage.
Done.
Do we need to say more?
Yeah, I feel like if you've got Nicolas Cage, you could probably pitch about anything and get some money for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Nicolas Cage and dog poker. I'm in.
Do I get to win the round of poker? What's my motivation?
Oh.
I was not thinking the game of poker. I was thinking like someone who pokes dogs. That's what.
See, that's what the movie actually is. That's what. See, you pitch it as one thing, but then the movie you get, just him with a stick.
Oh no!
They used to call me the dog.
Someone take that
whisperer.
away from him.
Okay, so hey, you guys want to talk about that lovable scamp?
Wait, which one? Nick Cage or Loki?
Same difference. Imagine.
Oh.
I know everybody
He's
loves Tom
burdened
Hiddleston.
by glorious purpose.
Okay. Maybe you know what? I take that thought. It wasn't even out my mouth, but I take it back already. I was gonna say that'd be amazing casting. I know everybody loves Tom Hiddleston, but now that Jesse, you give me a taste of what it would actually be like.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You
We're
think
good.
it would be, but it'd be more like what I just did.
It'd be exactly like what you just did.
Are we gonna go spoilery on this? Because I don't know how to talk about it without going spoilery.
Okay.
I mean, we shouldn't spoil how it, like, the literal last scene.
Okay, Melanie.
Yes.
The big reveal this episode.
What about it?
Don't say it.
Okay, I'll try not to.
That'll be the main thing, the main potential spoiler, and maybe we'll talk about it at the very end because I think it's worth mentioning.
We're not supposed to though. But okay.
No, we're not supposed to right away. That way, people who haven't watched the show yet can still hear some of our conversation and not have to turn the podcast off right now.
Right.
And then we'll
I
give them a
see.
warning, and then they can turn the podcast off.
Okay, that works.
After they go to grawlixpodcast.com/humble and check out a Humble bundle. We're a Humble partner. That's an affiliate link right there. Go get yourself some games or something.
Yeah.
Get yourself some games, help some charities, and also the Grawlix podcast. Win-win-win.
Yeah.
Or you know what? You don't want to do none of that. You're a Grinch and you don't like games. Patreon.com/Grawlix podcast. GRAWLIX podcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait. They don't have to stop listening yet. I don't need to pimp him yet. Okay, so Paul, that's the only thing Loki's good for. Okay, anyway. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Sweetheart. So Loki's episode 2. Yeah, you know, he's on the team now. He's got a desk. Actually, that wasn't his desk though, was it?
He was using it.
He was using it, but I feel like it was.
Seemed
Well,
like it
the
was,
one guy
but
has his
maybe
own
not.
office. I don't know. The one guy has his jet ski magazine there. Owen Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like
Mobius,
maybe
yeah.
that was his desk. But
Yeah.
it's kind of disorienting because we jump in at the beginning of the episode and he's like there in his suit doing a job or training. He's training and talking to a cartoon AI character. So it's
Is it
very
Miss
strange.
Minutes or
Yeah, Miss Minutes. That's Tara Strong, by the way. That's why she even came up recently. Speaking of Harley Quinn. But what do you guys think of this episode in general? Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was real good. I loved the bit where they talked about the other Lokis, and I think they said perhaps that he was like the most common variant or something that they'd had to chase more of his variants than anybody else. And then they showed pictures of them, and they're all like weird. I mean, some of them I'm sure look like him, but there's one that's kind of Hulk-like. He's like big and green and stuff, and they're all a little different. And I thought that was fun. It makes me want to ask a lot of questions about how their timeline thing works, because why are there so many variations if they're trying to keep everything so pure to the right timeline? But
Right. Some of those variations would indicate that there are already large branches
Right.
that started early. Because, well, some of them, there is a blue one, which is, he came from the ice giants or whatever, right? So, okay. I don't know how, I was curious how that whole thing worked with his genetics anyway, but who cares?
he's an albino.
Is he an albino ice giant?
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, the obvious interest, like visually, the most different one was the big hulky one.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I wonder why so many variants of him. You think just because the show happens to be Loki?
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be the god of mischiefs, and he's got, I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them have superpowers that would help them escape, like being able to shapeshift basically, and what is that little, he can teleport, I think, at least the current Loki.
He can sometimes.
Yeah, they can do magical things that would help them in escaping. So I'm assuming that has something to do with it.
Paul asks, did Loki get hit with the gamma rays instead of Banner? I think that's actually kind of the popular opinion theory that I've heard. Is yeah, it's probably like Hulk Loki, where everyone in some universe has gotten hit with it and is a Hulk version of that person. I'm sure,
They spend a lot of time in the library in this episode, which I found kind of interesting.
This
That,
episode was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say it was more talky. It was kind of. I don't want to say exposition episode, but it was.
Procedural.
Yes. Yeah. And I forget how ridiculous and kind of sniveling Loki is as a character, because he bounces between like being legitimately like not a terrible villain to being kind of a crap villain, and being sniveling because he's not good. He can't do anything really correctly. I I'd seen some review earlier today where they're like, for whoever was reviewing it, I don't remember what it was. They're like the show drops the ball on the drama, but it does its best with the comedy. And for me, it's kind of the opposite. I feel like when it really goes hard comedy, where it's like Loki's just being a goofball. I mean, I like kind of a smart A Loki, but where it's him, where he's obviously stalling for time and just being ridiculous, that's kind of my least favorite stuff.
Yeah.
Where he's playing the buffoon, but it's that version of the buffoon that thinks he's smarter than everyone. That's okay to a point, and we kind of got a lot of that at the beginning of this episode.
It's very Matt Smith Doctor Who.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So I didn't like this episode as much as I enjoyed the first episode, but I didn't dislike it. And even though this whole like timeline thing, it's like, you know, whatever. They make the writers, make the rules so they can work them however they want.
Right.
But the stuff like Loki discovers some things about like how, you know, it kind of operates and how maybe the variant's doing some things that I thought seemed clever. And of course, like I said, whatever, the writer, it's not really that clever because the writers are like, here's what happens and here's how it works. So they know how it works.
Right.
But I liked that explanation, and that's a fun kind of exploration of what they've set up.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it also, and I think it makes sense. And what fun places to go explore in the show, you know? Right. I don't really want to spend a lot of time going to like boring places where nothing's happening. I want to go to some exciting stuff, which all of those places would be. For the most part.
Is that whole thing too spoilery to really elaborate on, you think?
I don't know. I mean,
okay, well, we can wait. All I'm saying is if you're going to go and try to like disturb a timeline, letting some goats out of a cage and then just yelling like a crazy man isn't necessarily, I feel, the most effective thing.
right.
I was during that scene where they're trying to disrupt the timeline to test a theory. I'm just like, that's it? Like, you're Loki. That's the best you could come up with? Like, blah, 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 I'm from the future. Whoa, your cart full of goats are for free. Oh, it's like, dude, you're Loki.
Yeah.
That's your mischief? No wonder you
They've
suck,
never
man.
seen a drunk.
Exactly. They didn't know. They've never encountered anyone
let's
with a
pay
mental-
attention to this guy.
Right.
Yeah, but
The volcano's exploding.
But also, you know, you got to consider the time frame. I mean, for us now, we'd be like, pfft, but back then they'd be like, this guy just destroyed my livelihood. What the heck? You know? So it might have been a bigger deal at that time, I would imagine.
I'm not saying it's not a little drama worthy, but disrupting the timeline.
Yeah. Right.
I guess it depends how sensitive their instruments are. Like, this person was supposed to turn left and he turned right to stare at the man that was on the back of the cart.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I think it's like the end result, maybe. Otherwise, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Not to say like small things, because it's the whole, speaking of Doctor Who, like the left turn or right turn, whatever it is, where it's just like a completely different timeline, basically, from deciding to go this way instead of that way. But also they were there 30 seconds, like maybe give it a day, like see what kind of like time frame you have there.
Right.
Right.
And I just wanted to. I think it was confirmed more this time. The reset devices or whatever that they use
Yes.
basically just dissolve that whole branch of the timeline, and that makes the first episode part with the little kid in the church a lot more, hard on your heart.
Yeah, brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, I suspected so. We suspected so, but it is confirmed that it, yeah, basically just disintegrates that timeline. So it's like,
Yeah.
you guys are horrible murderers.
Basically, yeah.
Uh, I feel like they're setting up more doubt, as to who what are they called? Not the Time Lords.
No.
Loki refers to them as the lizards or whatever. The
Yeah,
time
space
lizards, the
lizards.
timekeepers, whoever they are. As to one, if they're real, or two, like, I mean, where are they? What are they doing? Are they really doing stuff? They really around? Like, yeah.
And-
I feel like it's seeding doubts into, like,
Right.
Owen Wilson's character and stuff, but also us as viewers.
Yeah. Not that I don't need any help. I don't like them already. But I'm not a Marvel person. I'm not really much of a superhero person in general for the most part, but especially Marvel. These are new characters, right? This isn't something that's already established in the Marvel universe.
I don't know enough about. I mean, like, I know that there's the cosmic beings
Mhm.
have been established, but they were like, they were more like on the nose. Like, this is the entity known as present day. And this is the entity known as then, and this is the one known as now. Or like, as just blatant as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen. There's
Is that
speculation.
in Infinity? I think Infinity Gauntlet is where we last saw those cosmic entities trying to take down Thanos.
I know we've seen speculation about at least one of the characters, one of the cartoon depictions of them looks like this other character from the Marvel universe. So I think that's when we were like, so are they not their own already established characters? If people are speculating as to, we think that's actually this character,
But it seems like everybody's speculating a lot. Everybody wants everyone to be Mephisto for some reason and stuff like that.
Even still, it still happens.
Yeah.
Even though they've like confirmed, yeah, because you mentioned it last week, Jesse, that people are already all about it, but it's already like the show writers have confirmed, like the red, the whatever that stained glass picture that the little girl refers to in the first episode, like I mean, the character happens that sure, that image happens to be red, but that wasn't Mephisto. That's not what we're going for. So there's at this point they're just like, no, no.
Yeah.
Paul says the Ren Fair lady looked like a young Agatha.
Agatha Harkness, maybe. That'd be interesting.
One of the things that I was not sad about or whatever, but we got to go into the future, but it was like barely in the future, and it was kind of lame. I wish they would do a little more future stuff that wasn't at the. And I don't as just assume that the Time Bureau place is set in the future, but that's weird and not like Earth. It doesn't seem like. I want to see some Earth future, some crazy stuff. I want to see some Back to the Future flying cars and stuff.
The Time Bureau seems like it's like an outside of time pocket universe thing or something.
Yeah.
They're kind of, it does suck because we go to 2050, Alabama specifically, I think. And you had said earlier in the episode, you're like, you think they're ever going to go to the future? And I was like, I don't know. They kind of did it smart, but also it is disappointing because they go during a horrible storm at night. So you see literally nothing except like water and the location they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
that's a clever way to get around, like, well, what does the future look like? Doesn't matter. There's a hurricane. You're not going to see it anyway. So get in that store.
And it's
And
kind of
Yeah.
like an Amazon / Costco looking place.
Right.
yeah,
So it's going to be pretty stripped down even in the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So their version of the future is like, well, box stores and Amazon combine. That's
Right.
just where everyone lives and shops at. A little minor commentary there, I think, but
Mm-hmm.
I think they were referencing Roxxon is like a energy company in the
Mhm.
Marvel universe.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like that staple for the corrupt corporation kind of thing.
Right.
So
Yeah. That's what they want.
Roxcart had to be part of that.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. This episode it was more procedural, like you said, and it was a lot of. I feel like we almost got the same character arc out of Loki again, as we did the first episode.
Right.
He kind of defaulted to his not particularly good at trying to be, con man or whatever.
Right.
But we learned more stuff a little bit about how things operate,
Mm-hmm.
and we learned a bit about the variant that they're after.
Mm-hmm.
Before we really get into it, this variant, you think they're evil, or maybe not evil, but you think because the first episode sets them up as like basically just kind of a murderer, just a murderer, like just a serial killer going from timeline to timeline. Apparently, though, only killing Time Bureau people, maybe.
Right. Which is my whole take on it. Maybe she's a murderer, but the variant is only killing people that, like we were talking about earlier, murder people constantly. Like that's their job, is to go and just kill all these people in this timeline that now will never exist, because of them. So taking a couple of them people out, if you're looking at death count, she's
That's the second time you've said it. You've
I know.
already spoiled it.
I know. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
listen, for future reference, listeners, if there's a thing that can be spoiled and we're talking about it, just assume Melanie's going to spoil it.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
It's okay. It's okay.
My brain is not careful.
That's all right. It's not a big deal. And listen, everybody knows. If
Yeah.
they've gotten this far, almost an hour into this episode, they've already watched the show or they're not going to watch it. So they don't care.
Right.
We just try to be good about it. Well, by she meant the little girl from the Salt Shakers.
Yeah.
What is that? I've said
I
that.
have no idea.
With the dog biting her butt.
Oh, the Wharton salt thing?
Yeah. Why is that, like, when I hear she, that's what pops in my head. Why is that my go-to?
Oh, I think you might have some weird childhood trauma or something. I don't know.
We went salty, but in a different direction.
Yep. That's what it is. Anyway. It's Black Widow.
No.
Oh.
I don't know who. I don't know the actress. And she doesn't. I mean, they don't have to look similar, but she doesn't look like the current Loki that we know at all to me.
Right.
So I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So there's the big thing is, yeah, although they still, in my mind, I think it confirms, yeah, it's Loki. It's a female version of Loki, but it's Loki because she's sporting his horn crown that he sometimes has. But they technically didn't expressly say. He refers to her as Loki when she is inhabiting another body, which, by the way, her power set way cooler than his. Like, he's got illusions, woo, and even though he's very particular about classifying different illusions, she can possess people and jump from body to body that way. That
Hmm.
while still doing stuff in her
Yeah.
own body. That's amazing power.
Right.
And that makes her kind of scary.
That's how you watch a movie and play on your computer at the same time.
That's right. Man, think of all the reviews and stuff I could do.
Yep.
Uh, but he refers to her as Loki while she's in somebody else's body before he's seen her proper,
Mhm.
and she even says like,
Don't even
"Don't
call me that.
Don't
Yeah.
refer to me as that."
Yeah.
But it seems so obvious that it is that I don't feel like they're gonna do a weird
Hmm.
double cross.
But I bet the people, I haven't really watched anything about it, but I bet people are freaking out because they're like, everyone's a woman now. Doctor Who, now Loki, SJW, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I was wondering, Jesse. Oddly enough, you're usually more tuned into that drama than I am. Anybody complaining?
Basically, what I've heard is that, or the argument, where the argument is coming from, is that it's a forced gender identity thing into their program. Like, yeah, it's
Oh, of
forced
course.
into your purview by the story, but other than that, it's not forced.
Yeah. Who do these people think they are? Thinking women exist in the world and make up more than half of the population. Doesn't mean we
Yeah.
have to watch entertainment with them in it. Unless they got their boobs out. Is that how those people talk? I feel like it's not. I feel like I just
I don't
wrongly
know. I don't know about that cadence. That
I wrongly slandered a group of
Just-
people that are like, to be fair, it's usually not the I don't know. You know what? I'm just not going to do the accent anymore, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe.
Let's only offend a few people if we can, not all.
Yeah, to be fair, anytime I come across those guys on YouTube that I'm always, the angry white guys who are complaining about SGWs, they don't usually have that kind of accent. It's either very standard, what I consider standard, but I'm Midwest, so I guess Midwest or British. What's with you
Yeah.
Brits?
Mm.
When did you get so American? Stop it.
Hmm.
I feel like that's not right either. Anyway, Paul says, "How is it forced? There has been a female Loki in the comics. Wackadoos." Yeah. Well, those comics, something, same argument. Did I derail this hard enough yet? Nope. Now I did. Okay. Do you guys think she's the true villain?
No, I think the Time Bureau or whatever it's called is the villain, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something going on there that they're hinting. They keep questioning, was it the time conduits or the time,
Hmm.
whatever they are? Like, are they even real?
Hmm.
And no one has like this definitive answer because no one's ever seen them.
Well, I think it's Loki's character. Part of it is he's the god of mischief, and such. And you trying to like control everything is wrong. I mean, and for him, it's like the worst possible thing is them trying to control everything that he does. Oops, I'm sorry, trying to control everything that he does, and that's that he's just an amplification of the things that are wrong with what they're doing. In my opinion, you can't take away people's free will and things like that.
Yeah, especially Loki, because he's clearly winging everything. And now that I think about it,
Yeah.
he is, I guess, the way, like, essentially when he postures, he does a lot of posturing, but it's that the sniveling personality that I mentioned earlier that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like is actually probably his more true character, and is actually, now that I think about it, a good representation of like mischief, a mischief god, because he's just winging it. Like he says he's super smart and he's got all these plans and blah blah blah. Dude, he doesn't know what he's doing from moment to moment. Like he's
Right.
just going with it. And I guess, and I don't know if they're thinking about that or not, but uh yeah, that really ties into the free will thing of like
Uh,
he's not going by he's not even going by his own plans. He
mhm.
doesn't want to go by anybody else's plans.
That's exactly it. I think even when he's misbehaving and he says he wants power, I don't think he wants power ever. I think he just wants to not have other people ruling over him, and that's it. Really. He just doesn't know what it is that he wants. He thinks he wants to rule. He doesn't. He just wants them not to rule over him. He wants to be free or whatever. That's my take on it.
Okay, well, overall I'd say even though I enjoyed the episode. I wasn't as on board or as invested as I was the first episode. Also, weird use of the song at the beginning. Was it Looking for a Hero? Which,
Especially after seeing it done so well with the He-Man trailer that we talked about, I think last week.
right. And again, it's so funny because really the scene that I most associate that song with now is Thor Ragnarok, the battle on the Rainbow Bridge,
Oh yes, right.
which is it was intriguing, them referencing Ragnarok and whatever, and it's like, I wonder if they're gonna maybe try to anyway. But the funny thing about that is that's not even the scene from the movie. In the movie, it's Led Zeppelin, which is arguably more awesome. But man, internet memes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a weird use for it because I don't know. It seemed not fitting. And Melanie's like, well, maybe they're looking for a hero. But that wasn't even necessarily the case either. They're looking for someone to torture some information out of, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It is definitely a show where after the episode's over, I'm like, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait another week.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I'm excited though. I'm excited to see where it goes. It could be anywhere, you know?
I am surprised by how quickly that pivots the show potentially, because it seemed like it was going in a certain direction and now it's like, whoop, oh, this means even more branches. This means,
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like that. I did like at least that sense of like, oh, suddenly everything's out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And not even just that, and also Loki's decision at the very end,
right,
is going to change the dynamic of things a lot too. I'm sure he did just wing it, but
that also seemed like an invitation to let that door hang open for so long, and it closed right after it. I think she wanted him to follow her. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. There we go. Woo. Hey, Melanie.
Yeah.
What should we be amazed about?
I think today I was trying to decide between two, but I'll go with okay, astronomers discovered the largest known spinning structures in the universe. There are, I think I've talked about before how there are tendrils in that bring like cool gases into older galaxies to keep them forming stars. So, which is amazing in itself. But those, and they're huge, giant things out in the universe.
The universe has central heating and cooling.
And well,
gas.
Or perhaps a circulatory system. But these giant things that are, they have millions of galaxies in them, are rotating. Not all of them, but at least some of them for sure. And they didn't expect that at all because why would they? But they do. And so they're trying to come up with some theories of why that would be. And it's just another fascinating part of What we don't know.
So when you say structures, are you talking like, we'll say there's like a cluster of galaxies
Yes.
and it all rotates together, making
Yeah.
that kind of a structure of sorts? Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yes, that's exactly
Okay.
right. So like the galaxies inside rotate they're on by themselves, but all together they all rotate in the same pattern around inside of these larger clumps. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. So very interesting.
I don't know if I like it. I mean, I like the story. It's interesting, but I don't know if I like. It's really the tendril thing. It's like
Hmm.
we're just. I get that we're like not even microscopic in the scheme of things, but then
Uh,
to like think of, well, we're just not even microscopic within an invisible cell of a larger being
mhm.
bugs me kind of in a way.
Well, it shouldn't. I
Makes
mean, look.
me makes me dizzy, like trying to think about how all
Yeah.
those different spinning things, like starting at the just the
Right.
base level of our planet spins, but it
Hmm.
also rotates around the sun, and then
Hmm.
that's part of a galaxy, and that
Right.
galaxy spins, and then that's
But
like
you got to
I'm just
start
like,
smaller
whoa.
because the electrons spin around the neutron
Yep.
in the atom, and all of our cells are not even entirely us. So we're not the one thing, We're bunches of little bitty things all swirling together, and we're part of a bigger one. So yeah, it's
It's
beautiful.
it's it's not even a carousel. It's a carousel on another carousel. It's multiple carousels on another carousel on a gyroscope on a
Hmm.
bungee cord on a
Oh no,
gravitron.
I'm gonna need Dramamine for this conversation.
Yeah. So that's good stuff. It let's just to wrap it back around.
Hmm.
Reminds me of one of my favorite little bits from the Ninth Doctor period of the Doctor Who show when he's
Hmm.
talking about being on, Earth is spinning at this fast and traveling around the sun at this
Oh yeah,
fast and blah blah
Hmm.
blah. And I mean, it's such an interesting idea that they've never really touched on again. It's like, and he feels it. He feels every whatever. That'd be horrible
right.
Yeah.
to feel the speed at which you're traveling standing there on a planet. But
Hmm.
anyway, um, anything else, Jesse? You got anything exciting coming up?
Not that's coming to mind. No.
All right. Me either. Oh, I be There's been a lot of that tonight. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why. I will be recording something with one Mr. Matty D here soon. Uh, I don't know when that will be available for listening, so I won't go too much into it just yet. But yeah, something Batman related.
Hmm.
Maybe it has to do with the '60s. So that's it.
Exciting.
Yes.
No, I was just gonna ask Jesse if you still destroying boxes.
Are you
Uh,
still destroying
I haven't
boxes?
destroyed anything new except for we talked about it last time
Hmm.
where it was like the least imaginative way and it
Oh, but
Hmm.
felt
that's the
for
best.
it was
Also, it's
like
such a throwaway.
so forced. Yeah, and also more shocking to some because it's like,
Yeah.
Hmm.
you did that for no reason.
Yeah. There's
Hmm.
no lead up or nothing.
Yeah. So I haven't really done anything new, but I'm also trying to. It's hard to not try to outdo yourself, kind of thing. It's
Right.
like, well,
Right.
the last one I did this, which was why it's kind of nice to soullessly just crush a box because it's like,
Right.
oh, reset. So,
He's gonna be dropping houses on boxes soon.
ooh, that's a great idea. I need to like, no, I don't. What am I saying? I need to have
First
like a
houses,
house.
and then houses with families
yeah,
inside.
yeah.
People will
get
be like,
like
"Oh, that box."
bag full of Monopoly houses and just be like, boom.
Viewer/listener, if you're very confused right now, Jesse has been trolling people of TikTok by trolling action figure and toy collector people of TikTok specifically by destroying these wonderfully mint boxes that the figures
Yep.
come in. First off, you remove the toys from the box. That's a no-no. And then you destroy the box.
Right.
And you're making
The
them
first
up.
one, all I said in the first one was I throw them away.
Mm.
Oh, that's how it started.
Yeah, that's all he said in the first one, and that blew up. Like that's probably my most views and likes and comments on a single video.
Mhm.
Um, and then from there, it got more extreme because I was like, well, this blew up. I guess I got to do this again. And so
Mhm.
then, yeah,
Yeah.
went into the full on destruction mode.
Mhm.
Hey, if they want to see some of those, where do they find you at? How they find you?
Hey,
online?
it's a real familiar handle, and you just go to at
Mhm.
nerdsounds.com. You spell all of it out, even the dot,
Mhm.
and you'll find me. Oh wow, look at
What
that.
happened? What was that? I see something weird flash on the screen. I don't know what that was.
Wow.
Whew.
Glitch in the matrix.
Did you guys go somewhere for a moment? All right. Well, hey, if you want to find more of this show, we might not be destroying boxes, but we are throwing salt
Ruining
shakers.
plots.
We're ruining plots.
Yep.
Yeah, we're destroying your expectations for a show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or not. You know what? You could use some spoilers, people. Get
Yeah.
those expectations in check.
Mhm.
If you know what to expect, you can't be outraged when what you thought was going to happen doesn't happen.
Mhm.
So, hey, yeah, hear more of that at grawlixpodcast.com. It's GRAWLIX podcast.com. We're also on all the social media. I'll be honest, I haven't been posting too much to like any social media, but we're there. Maybe we'll start again. Who knows?
Mhm.
Maybe I'll just go and like share all of Jesse's TikToks.
Mhm.
That's a thing that we could do. So, that's it, I guess. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.
Mhm.
And don't go chasing waterfalls.